Hi, this is Gabe from fluentforever.com. In this second video, we're going to talk about Portuguese vowels. My primary goal here is to get you familiar with the IPA symbols for those vowels and to give you a rough sense of how they fit in your mouth. Keep in mind throughout this process that the better you learn to hear these sounds, the better you'll be able to keep track of which one is which, and the better you'll produce them. We're going to be talking a bit about tongue placement, so to give you a rough sense of that, try this. Compare E, and a in English, as in seat, set, and sat. You'll notice that your tongue starts out high, E, goes to the middle of your mouth, and then goes down to a. So your tongue can go up and down. It can also go forward and back. Compare as in bet and as in but. Your tongue goes forward for and then pulls back for bet, but. Now, if you'd like a much more in-depth discussion about vowel formation, check out some of the videos linked below, but for the beginning, that's about all you'll need. So let's get to some Portuguese. Portuguese's vowel complexity is somewhat similar to English. We'll start by covering the 9 basic vowels of Portuguese, 3 of which overlap pretty well with 3 vowels from English.
Those 9 vowels are A, E, U, I, O, and U.
We'll start with the easiest 3.
I, E, and U.
Because those are extremely similar to 3 vowels you know already in English.
I shows up in Portuguese as milho and English as si.
It's basically the same in both languages, unless your dialect of English actually uses 2 vowels when you say E. If you say si or sei, you'll need to get rid of that first vowel and stick to the second. Si.
Our next vowel is U, which shows up in Portuguese as uva, nu, and English as nu.
Again, this vowel is pretty much the same in both languages, but as we mentioned with E, some dialects of English will use 2 vowels here. Nu, where Portuguese consistently will just use one pure U.
Nu. Our last super similar vowel is E. E shows up in Portuguese words like pé and céu, and English words like bet.
Now we'll start getting into some new sounds, and all of these sounds come in pairs, where the 2 vowels are made in very similar ways.
There's E and O and O, A and and I and U. We'll start with E. E shows up in words like selo or seu.
Here's where we'll start taking advantage of our earlier discussion about vowel height. You remember how E was high up in your mouth and E was in the middle of your mouth?
Well, Portuguese's E vowel tends to be between those 2.
We can use an earlier word we just encountered to help illustrate this.
This, once again, is seu.
With a relatively low tongue position.
Seu. And this is seu. So that's seu, seu.
The second one, the new one, has a slightly higher tongue position.
Seu. Our next pair is O and O.
We'll start with the first one.
O as in avô or tomo.
This vowel is very similar to American English's O as in tome. The issue with the vowel in tome is that it's actually 2 vowels. You start at O, but then you go to U, om.
Portuguese stays put. We say tomo. And we could compare that to tomu. Portuguese as tomo. English tomu. Tomo. Tomu. The second vowel in this pair is O, as in no, not, avó, grammar, and sob, you rise.
There are a couple ways of getting at this vowel.
First off, you can compare it to its sibling, O. There was O, as in avô, versus O, as in avó. Avô, avó. O, O.
The differences here are a lower tongue position, and your lips get a little less rounded with this new vowel. The other thing you can do is compare it to the English vowel as in nut or subby. It's basically the exact same tongue position as that vowel, and the only difference is that you're rounding your lips a little for the Portuguese one.
So English as subby, and Portuguese as sob. Subby, sob, o, sobe.
Now we come to another one of the pairs.
A and a. We'll start with a as in chá.
This vowel is similar to English's as in dog or father. The Portuguese vowel, though, is a bit more forward in your mouth, so your tongue is going to be about halfway towards the American a sound.
So English has shot and chat, and halfway in between Portuguese has chato. Shot, chato, chat. The other vowel in the pair is a, as in bota. It's basically a's more relaxed brother.
You're only going to see it at the ends of words in the unstressed position. The tongue position here is a bit higher in your mouth, close to where you'd say as in but. This is easiest to hear when you listen to words that have both of these vowels.
Like father and faca.
The second vowel is short, weak, unaccented, and has a tongue position higher up in your mouth.
Father, faca.
And now we've come to the last of the pairs.
E and u.
Since we've already covered E, let's look at a word that contains both of these vowels.
E and u, as in tigre. The first thing you may notice is that the u sound is unaccented, almost indistinct, and a lot quieter than our E vowel.
This is going to be the case whenever you run into this vowel. It shows up in European Portuguese whenever you have an unaccented E vowel at the end of a word, and occasionally when you have unaccented E vowels in the middle of words. In terms of your tongue position, you're going to want to keep your tongue up high in your mouth, just as you did for E, but pull it back a little, like this.
E, u.
Before we move on, I wanted to mention that in the course of everyday speech, this vowel can get so unstressed and short that it basically vanishes. While some speakers might say a word like
Fiche, with a clear u at the end. You may also encounter speakers who de-emphasize it so much that you can barely hear it, as in fish.
I mention this only so you won't get too surprised when you can't seem to hear it from certain speakers, and also so that you don't overpronounce it. At this point, we've covered the 9 main vowels of Portuguese, but that's not the whole story. Portuguese takes 5 of these vowels and turns them into what are known as nasal vowels. These are vowels that allow air to escape through your nose at the same time as through your mouth. English uses nasal vowels right before we say words that end with N or M. And if you listen carefully, you can hear them. It's the difference between the A as in cat and the as in can't. You can tell that the air is coming out of your nose because of what happens when you pinch your nose. I'll do that now. You could say cat just fine, but can't sounds funny. The only special thing about Portuguese is that they say the nasal vowel, but don't actually say the N's or M's afterwards. It'd be as if we said can't instead of can't. In terms of Portuguese spelling, you can tell that a vowel is going to be nasal if there's a tilde on top, or if the vowel is followed by an N or an M. The N or M becomes silent and you get a nasal vowel. In IPA, these vowels are always indicated with a tilde on top.
The first one we'll discuss is which has the tongue position of a, un. You'll see this in words like maçã. Next comes e, which has the tongue position of e. This shows up in words like dente. Then there's in, which has the tongue position of in. This shows up in words like pinguim. Then we have on, which has the tongue position and rounded lips of o. On. You'll see this in words like bomba. And last we have which has the tongue position and rounded lips of u. You'll see this in words like mundo.
And those are all of the remaining vowels in Portuguese. The only thing left to discuss are combinations of 2 vowels, otherwise known as diphthongs. English is full of these. Of our 5 so-called vowels, A, E, I, O, and U, 3 of those, A, I, and O, are actually diphthongs. They're not single vowels at all. In American English, at least, we go A, I, and O. Now, Portuguese has diphthongs too, and we'll go over them now. You'll find that the Portuguese diphthongs are actually super simple.
Basically, Portuguese has a short, weak U sound and a short, weak E sound, and it sticks them at the end of words to make diphthongs like pai, boi, fui, pau, céu, and meu.
You'll see the ones that end in a short E sound are indicated with an IPA symbol that looks like a J. But for all intents and purposes, this is the exact same tongue position as our E vowel. The only difference is that it's shorter and less stressed than the main vowel.
It's not pai, it's pai.
Same idea with the short U. This one shows up in IPA as a W, and again, it's the same position as the U vowel, but shorter and less stressed.
It's not pau, it's pau.
All in all, pretty easy. The only things that are going to be a little bit unfamiliar are the spellings for these diphthongs, which will just take some time to get used to, and the fact that these little short E and U sounds become nasal when the main vowel is a nasal vowel.
You can see this in words like mãe, mão, aviões, choram.
In IPA, you'll use the exact same J and W as before, just with a nasalization mark, a tilde, on top. And so that's basically it for diphthongs. You will occasionally see combinations of vowels where it's not just one main vowel with a shorter E or U afterwards. But in those cases, all you're going to do is pronounce each vowel clearly and evenly, and you'll be pronouncing it correctly.
Take combinations like iu in rio and navio, win as in pinguim, and wa as in tatuagens.
In all of these combinations, all you're really doing is pronouncing each vowel clearly. There are no big changes you're making to the vowels. And so that's all for Portuguese diphthongs, and that means we're through with all the sounds of Portuguese. To quickly review, in this video we covered the 9 base vowels of Portuguese, the 5 nasal vowels of Portuguese, and chatted a bit about diphthongs. We began with 3 vowels that were very similar between Portuguese and English.
There was I as in milho, then came U as in uva, and then we covered E as in pé.
Then we talked about 4 pairs of similar sounding vowels.
E and E, O and O, A and I and U. The first was E as in selo, selo,
which had a tongue position in between E and E.
Then we did O as in avô,
which was similar to the first vowel in O as in no. You just stay on the beginning O part.
No, O, O, O. Then came O as in avó,
which had a lower tongue position and more relaxed lips.
Then there was A as in chá,
which was a vowel in between English's ah and ah.
Then there was as in bota,
which has a higher tongue position, pretty close to English's vowel, and always shows up as an unstressed syllable.
And finally, there was E sibling as in tigre,
which was just as high up as E, but further back and super unstressed, sometimes so unstressed it's barely heard. We then covered 5 nasal vowels, which all took tongue positions from vowels we already covered, and then allowed air out of the nose to change their sound.
There was as in maçã. This one had the tongue position of A. Then came E as in dente, which had the tongue position of E. Then there was in as in pinguim, which had the tongue position of E. Then O as in bomba, which had the tongue position of O. And last, as in mundo, which had the tongue position of U.
Finally, we went through Portuguese diphthongs, which were basically one of 3 things. One of the normal vowels followed by a short E or U.
As in pai or pau.
One of the nasal vowels.
Followed by a short nasal in or as in mãe or mão.
Or a combination of other vowels, which are just going to be 2 separate syllables, where both vowels are pronounced clearly.
As in rio, pinguim, and tatuagens.
And with that, we've covered all the sounds of Portuguese. Next stop, a few Portuguese spelling rules.